we are discussing about implementation project process. What activities we perform as a part of implementation process. Okay, we start the implementation as a consultant. So we involve in the implementation project with the activity called as kickoff meeting. The kickoff meeting we involve in the introduction. So already we discussed here. There will be client team, other side consulting company teams. Between these two teams, there will be introduction. So the client team will introduce about their team members, saying that who is involved in which business process and whose responsibility is what in their organization. They'll introduce, I'm payables manager, and I'm receivables manager, or I'm finance manager, I'm IT head. That's how they'll just come up with their profiles, what they're doing in the organizations. And same time, from our team, the consultants will get introduced themselves, saying that I'm going to work as a finance consultant, SCM, HCM, and I'm going to work as a project manager. So that's how the introduction takes place in the kickoff meeting. Okay, just kickoff meeting before we start with the implementation activities. There will be kickoff meeting for interaction purpose. You can say kickoff meeting is nothing but start of meeting. Kickoff meeting is nothing but start of meeting. Start of meeting. Okay. Kickoff meeting is nothing but start of meeting. Here introductions takes place between client team and the implementation team. So after that, so we have to study about client systems. Okay, we have to study system study. System study. Say we are going to say I'm going to work as a financial consultant. I have to see which systems they are using as of now, how they're recording the transactions, what is the volume of the transactions they're recording. With respect to finance, from where data is coming, these are all points we have to understand. If I take example, if I'm going to study their system with respect to payables application, I have to understand how they are creating the invoice in the payables, how they are processing the payments, how they are creating the suppliers, how they are maintaining the bank accounts. Per day, how many invoices they are recording. In a week, in a month, how many invoices they are recording. The invoices they are recording in the single currency or multiple currencies. The payments they are processing in one currency or multiple currencies. When they are processing the payments, they are using which payment methods, and what are the various type of transactions they are recording in the payables application. Okay, or you can call as vouchers. What are the different vouchers they are recording in the payables application? What are the business scenarios they have as per their payables process? What are the reports they are using in their current system? What are the possibilities? Instead of saying what are the possibilities, what are the challenges they have in their current system? how they are getting the data into payables if they are not recording in the payables directly. We have seen P2P cycle, okay, as per our Fusion applications in the same way, from where they get POs information, receipts information. Do they have an option of creating invoice in the payables by matching with the PO and receipt? Are they following very manual process of entering the invoice in the payables and just taking the PO number or receipt number for reference? Is there any concept of creating invoices in the payables automatically? Are they using invoice imaging solution? Okay. Do they provide advances to their suppliers? Fine. And do they need to create invoices in the payables against employee expense reports? And how they are doing the corrections in case of entering the wrong amounts in the transactions or in case of purchase returns? And do they have a practice of calculating the interest in case of late payments? Do they need to calculate the tax in which scenarios? So these are the points. What are the many concepts we discussed in the payables, right? These are all the aspects we have to think about their current system. They have to think about their current system. So this is all like, so whether they are creating any memos or not, is there any concept of processing the payments automatically? Currently, do they use any process called as automating the payment? Do they release advances to the suppliers? And are they following any concept of giving PDC, post-dated checks, to the suppliers? Is there any requirement they issue separate checks for each and every invoice? Do they record? Currently, I'm talking about their current system by keeping our Fusion Financials payables application in our mind. You have to keep payables in our mind when you study about their current system. Do they do this? Do they do that? This is what you have to think and you have to check accordingly. Okay, they'll give the system access to us. Along with that, their accountants will sit with us and we ask them, okay, do you create any advance? Do you issue any advances? Do you issue any PDC checks to the suppliers? Is there any business scenario where you issue the separate checks for each invoice or each voucher? They may call as invoice or they may call as voucher as per current system. Okay, and do you have any scenario where you record the vouchers or invoices with foreign currency and you process the payments in foreign currency? And is there any requirement you do the merging? And is there any business scenario you calculate interest when you make the payments because of late payments? Do you record any utility bills which you repeat very frequently? And is there any business scenario you get invoice from your supplier, but you have to process the payment to another party? Do you have business scenario where you create invoice in one currency, payment in the different currency? And if you want to stop the invoice from the payment, what you do? Are you following any approval concept in your payables process? Okay. If you are going to get the refund from supplier, how you are managing in your system? Okay. So this is how, like, these are the points which we have to discuss with the business users. Okay. We'll just go and sit with the business users, and first we will see about their system. At the same time, we'll have meetings with their business users who are working in the client organization for payables department. So we discuss with that business users. So like with the payables department, receivables department, as a department, this is all will have a separate meets, and we'll sit in front of the system. We'll ask them, could you please show me how do you create invoice? Can you show me how do you create the payment, so that we can understand what details they are including, what details they are not including? Can you show me how do you maintain the vendor master? Vendor master is nothing but supplier. Okay, so vendor master we call suppliers. So this is all we ask them. What exactly, how they are using the system, we should understand. We should be aware of the system, so that, so what they are doing, that we can implement in our Fusion Payables application. Along with that, we have to understand what they want to do and what they are not able to do in the current system. And we have to see what reports you are using. Okay, what reports you are using as a part of your payables applications, and we have to ask them. The terminology may be different. Okay, terminology may be different, but we have to keep the concepts what we discussed in our Fusion Payables. By keeping all those in mind, do you do this, do you do that? This is what we have to ask them. Okay, when we ask them, they respond, okay, we never give any advances to supplier. There is no concept of calculating interest. Okay, we don't have business scenarios where we get invoice from one supplier and we issue the payment. Then we can think in our mind, okay, so then we no need to implement third-party payments. We no need to implement interest invoice. We no need to implement advances to prepayment concept for this organization. This is what we can understand, and we can think about those points by asking the questions. Okay, by asking the questions, this is what we have to discuss with the client. Okay, so that's what we call as, okay, system study. We study about their system, and within the system, specific department related process. Say you are going to work for payables implementation, your responsibility is for payables, what product they are using. Before coming to Fusion, what product they are using. So what they are recording directly in the payables application, what data they are getting from other applications. Okay, what data they are getting from other applications. These all points we have to study, you have to discuss, and we have to ask them to create and show certain transactions for our understanding purpose. So this is what we call as system study. System study means we study, we try to understand about their current system with respect to specific application process or the complete business process or the P2P and all. So as a finance consultant, we have to study the system about their finance related areas. The same way, so we deal with, when we talk about receivables, we sit with the receivables department users, and we have to ask them how to create the transactions, how you are creating the transactions in the receivables. Okay, just show us how you do the billing, how do you prepare the billing in your current system, and if you want to do the corrections, how do you do? Okay, do you create any memos in any business scenarios? Okay, if you want to postpone the due dates for suppliers, we don't ask them directly, how do you create chargeback? Do you create like receipt? You don't ask direct terminology, we don't use here. Whatever we are learning in our Fusion applications, these are the terminology we are using. The terminology will be mostly similar to any other products also, but we should not refer the terminology what we are using in our Fusion applications. The purpose we have to pick the point, the purpose we have to take, with that purpose we have to ask the questions. How do you do the corrections for the transactions? If you want to postpone the due date for any transaction, what process we follow? And if you want to reverse the receipts, how you are reversing the receipts, please show us. If you have a business scenario where one organization is acting as suppliers and customer, how you do the settlement? This is how we have to ask the question. We should not ask, do you perform APR netting? They'll say, what are you speaking? What is APR netting? So this is how that response would be. You never use the terminology exactly what we are using in our applications. We have to take the summary, what is the purpose of that concept. Accordingly, we have to ask the questions. How do you do the settlement? If any party is acting as a supplier and a customer with respect to business activities, then they'll come up, okay, this is a scenario, this is how we handle. We call that as a settlement process, something else. Okay, they may call as supplier customer settlement, but in our Oracle Fusion we call as APR netting. As per their current system, they may call as supplier customer netting, or they may call with another terminology called as invoice and transaction netting, or else liability and receivables netting. It could be anything as per the current system, what they are using, as per the system, what are the concept that product-based company introduced, accordingly they call. But as per our Fusion, we call as API netting, we should not ask them. You should not ask them, hey, do you need a reciprocal customer concept? They don't know what is a reciprocal customer. Certain terminology, yes, as per business, they can understand. Certain terminology, they don't understand. We have to ask in a way where anyone can understand as per the business process. You should ask, do you have any scenario where you create transaction against one customer, but payments you receive from other customer? They says yes. Okay, in your mind, you have to think, okay, fine. So this is what I mean, we have to implement reciprocal customers concept for this client. Another point, when you sit and discuss with the client, we prepare minutes of meeting also, MOM, minutes of meeting. Okay, minutes of meeting, and you study and when you discuss with the client, so you prepare a simple kind of document, MOM, minutes of meeting we call. Fine. So that's how we have to ask the questions. Okay, do you have a scenario where you do the billing to the customers in one currency, you receive the payment from other parties, and if customer is not going to pay, or if customer is going to pay excess amount, how do you handle in your system? And if you want to refund to the customer, what process you are following in your current system? And if you are going to postpone the billing or revenue recognition, or how do you deal in your current system? Do you provide single bill, consolidated bill to your customers? If they says yes, yes, how you are doing in your current system? These are all points we have to ask. Okay, these are all points we ask the business users when we are working for them. Okay, and we can ask them like, do you create the customers directly in the receivables of your current system, or do you get the customers data from other applications? They'll answer. They'll answer. We have some other application from there we are going to bring, and these are all points we have to understand. Do you create any billing? Billing you will do directly in the receivables, or else billing you do always based on the sales orders, or else you create the transactions and you provide the sales order number for reference, or else the billing generation is automatic as per our current process. And what are the challenges you have when you are using the system? So what you are doing and what you are not able to record in the system as per the system limitations. Okay, do you have do you have any scenario where you can create the receipts automatically? It says, yes, we have such kind of requirement, but my current system is not supporting what we are using. That is the reason we are we are creating the receipts also through manual process. So that's how they come up with the issues and challenges in the current system, what they are doing, what they are not doing, if they are doing something, how they are doing. All this they'll explain. It's not like one-time discussion. Just initially, we'll just sit with the business users, we'll talk to them, okay, with respect to their business process, and they'll just come back to us by stating what they are able to do, not able to do, what they are doing, how they are doing. So what we are learning from the payables and receivables and other applications, all the concepts we have to keep in our mind. I'm not talking about setups. Remember, we never talk to the client about the setups. Okay, we never talk to the client. Do you do system option setup? Do you create the transaction types? No. This is just to keep system ready. We do the setup. So always we have to talk to the business users or business with our say client or client team. Okay, so what business process or what activities they are doing as a part of business. Okay, we ask them, okay, in the end of the month, how do you close your books? What do you check? What do you verify? How do you make sure that everything is smooth in the respective department related activities? And what points you consider before closing the periods? Before that, we ask the concept, do you have any concept of closing the periods? Okay, how you perform the month-end activities? These questions we have to ask them. then they'll answer. These all points you can, as a quick reference, as a quick information, you can make a note in the MOM, minutes of meeting. When you sit with the business, when you discuss, very high level, you can make a note of those points. Okay, high level, we can make a note of the points. Based on that, you can talk to them very detailed level. Okay, very detailed level, you can talk to them. In the same way, if you are going to implement fixed assets applications, okay, we have to talk to them like how do you create assets in your current system, and if you are purchasing assets, what process you are going to follow to bring the data from payables to fixed assets application. If you want to just split, or if you want to merge the asset related information, how you do that, how you convert CIP assets as a capitalized. If you want to change the, like how you are managing assets, means they'll say it's like this is how we manage, and by seeing that you can understand. They have a categorization concept, or they have a classification concept, they have a something else. Accordingly, we can understand. So which can be mapped with what in our Fusion applications. So how they calculate depreciation, how they can go with the different depreciation calculations as a corporate book, tax book. In the current system, how they have, you have to understand. Okay, how the rollback is possible if they are doing, and any analysis they conduct, and how what determined process they follow. So these are all points we have to understand. The same way with respect to GL applications, we don't ask them directly like what you do and what you don't do and all. So we have to keep all these points in our mind, and we have to ask them. So with respect to reporting, how do you prepare the reports? When you collect the data from the different departments or different applications, what you are using, do you have a concept of approvals? And how you can perform the, like when you get current assets or current liabilities data from payables and receivables application, how you evaluate, nothing but revaluation, how you do that. So do you have any requirement of collecting the data from different countries to prepare the consolidated reports? If they says yes, then how you are doing the translation, how you are translating the balances in each and every ledger, how you are just setting, how you are doing the consolidation activity. Okay, how you have any requirement of setting the budgets? Okay, so in the end of the month, if you want to perform the reversal, how do you do? Are you following only manual reversal concept, or is there any concept of reversing those certain journals, certain transactions? They may call as journals, or they may call as vouchers, they may call as something else also. We don't know. When you see their system, they will explain. Okay, it's not like training to us from them. Since we know each and every application from Oracle side, if you sit with them for a few minutes, or else if you sit for 1 or 2 hours with the payables department, they can explain everything. They can explain. You can ask them, could you please create one sample invoice? I want to understand how you are creating, what data you are including as a part of invoice creation, payment creation. Yes, the business users will create for us, so that we can understand everything. We can ask, we have to study and understand about their current system, what they are doing, how they are doing. Everything is very important for us. Okay, we have to ask them, is there any reporting requirements in our organization where the data what you get, you have to report in other currencies? And how do you set a like a security? You say some users are working for so and so branch. Okay, means you don't need to ask them like business unit and all. Business unit is the term we use in the Fusion application. If it is a EBS, we use operating unit term. If client, whatever the system client is using, how what they are calling, we don't know. Okay, they may call as a operational unit, or they may call it as a company code, or they may call it a branch code, they may call it something else. That is reason never refer our application terminology to discuss with the client anything. Always we have to go with a very generic information. Okay, you can ask them, how do you manage the security? That means the user who is working for one branch, how you limit them to access only that branch related data, or that unit related data, or that outlet related data. And if when they are going to record, we have to see and understand. Okay, what data they are capturing as a description in each and every transaction, which is equal to our chart of accounts. They say, yes, this is how we record the transaction, the payables, receivables, and all, equal to our chart of account concept, what they have in their current system. We have to study and we have to understand, we have to ask them. When we go through all these points, we'll come to know. Okay, we'll come to know, okay, what they need, what they are doing, what they want to do and what they are not able to do, whether that is possible or not. We are not going to tell to them immediately. They says, yeah, we have a requirement of doing such kind of scenario, but in our system we have limitations. That is the reason we are following some workaround. Immediately, you don't need to say, okay, don't worry, in our system we have that. No need to say that. Just you have to make a note of all those points. So everything we have to discuss, we have to sit with the business users, we have to just ask them, so how they are using the payables, receivables, assets, equal to general ledger, what application they have, equal to cash management, which application they have, okay, or else they may have only one application, which is equal to our GL and cash management, and or else they may have just how they have their systems, what they are creating within that application, what they are bringing from other applications, which applications are connected with which application. Say that you, when you sit and discuss with the client, you will understand many things. You will understand many things. Finance, what systems they are using, supply chain management, what systems they are using. Finance and SCM, supply chain management, they are using the same product or different products. Okay, how those are connected, what data comes from which applications. We know about Oracle Fusion applications. We don't know about what current systems they are using. You have to study and understand thoroughly so that you can give the best solution, okay, as per their business process. It's very, very important. We should sit with the business users. So initially we'll just go and meet them. Okay, if we take example of payables department, so we'll just in the introduction meetings, okay, in the introduction meetings, we'll come to know like who are the key members in their payables department. And even in the introduction, the client side team will introduce so Mr. X is going to help you to provide any kind of information related to payables department. We have that person in our organization from last 10 years or 20 years. Is very much expertised, or is expert in our payables business process. Any queries, any questions, any information you require related to our payables business process, you can contact Mr. X. That's how they'll introduce the meeting. In the kickoff meeting itself, they'll introduce. That's how we can connect that person. We'll ask them the time, like, okay, just let's schedule some meeting. We want to understand about your current system, business process, what activities you are doing with respect to our payables department. So that's how we schedule the meeting, and we'll sit along with the business users. They may be key users or end users. End users means we'll record just transactions, and who got more experience. They may be users who are working on the system, accountants, or else you may call as a senior accountants or accounting managers or department managers. We can call them as a key users who just knows, who doesn't know anything, who knows just how to enter the invoice, how to make the payment. Mostly we call them as a end users. Generally, we don't meet end users. We provide trainings and all. Most of the interactions we do with the key users. Sometimes key user says, you can talk to that end user, so and so person, that person is good enough with this process. So that's how, if required, we'll talk to them. Mostly we talk to the main key people in the specific department who knows about the business process, managers or senior accountants, or sometimes the accountants also. So we have to discuss. Okay, the very first point is sit with the business users. We take their time and we sit with the business users. We ask them how they are using the system within the specific application, how they are recording. That application is connected with which applications and what purpose. Okay, to manage the payables department process, to record the payables related transactions, from where data is coming to where data is going, what data they are generating, what concepts they have as per their business process, what kind of transaction they have to record. These are all points we have to understand. Very high level, those we capture into MOM document, minutes of meeting. Okay, very high level, very high level. You see if there is any press meet. Okay, so what they do, they'll just, whatever that speaker is speaking, they'll make a note. What they're addressing, what they'll just prepare note. After some time, after meeting is completed, they'll elaborate on that point. In the same way, okay, so as a consultant, when we sit with the business users, they talk about their system, they talk about their business process, okay, and that we have to make a note. So most of the time what we do is, yes, if you want to see the system, you'll go and sit with the business users. And apart from that, we'll conduct the meeting for payables department, receivables department. We ask them to explain their process, or else we ask them the questions to understand about their business process. This is what we have to do, that we call as system study. Okay, during the system study, we'll make a note of all the points. Okay, so that's what we call. The same you can call as, right, understanding client business process. Okay, we study the system. Okay, what systems they are using. Along with that system, we understand the client business process, what process they are following. Okay, what process they are following. Okay, that we have to, I mean, what process they are following, that we have to understand. We have to understand. So client business process, that you can call a system study or understanding about client business process. It's all about sitting with the business users and if required, conducting the meetings to know about more about their business activities, what they are doing. We do the system study, we call as a system study or client business process, or you can call it as studying the system or studying their business process. Okay, so that's what we call. And when we are going to do this, okay, the people who are experienced, the people who are experienced, say when you go through these classes and AP application, if you are very much comfortable with what concepts we have in the payables, what we do in the payables, by closing the sheet, I can talk, right? I can keep this as a blank and I can sit with any business users. I can ask them, okay, when you get invoice from the supplier, how do you record in the system? Okay, when you are recording that invoice in the payables application, so how do you cross check with your purchase order? How do you cross check with your receipts? How do you record the advances? How do you do this? How do you do that? This is how I can ask if I remember all this. If I don't remember all this, I cannot ask the questions, very specific questions. That is the reason sometimes if you are not aware, okay, what exactly you have to ask when you meet the payables department, you can have a questionnaires also. Okay, you can have a questionnaires. Okay, based on the questionnaires, you can prepare the questionnaire, or else you can get from your practice. Every company, okay, they can have their PMO related documents, what documents they prepare as a part of project, what are the standard documents they use as a part of implementation. The PMO office, project management office, can manage the documents as per the methodology what they are using. So you can get certain documents from the project or a project team also. Your project team or PMO office, or you may talk to your project manager, or you can get, or else you use certain documents from the previous projects we can reuse and by modifying. Okay, you don't need to create things from very scratch. Okay, there will be templates for every document preparation. There will be templates. By using that you can do it. So some implementations, what we do is, you may use the questionnaires. Okay, you may use the questionnaires. What you will do is, when we are going to study and all, if you are not very sure about what questions you have to ask, say for example, you are going to contact payables department today. You are going to sit with them to understand about their business process. You can start asking the questions by referring the questionnaires. You can have a questionnaires. I'll show you like how we prepare MOF, minutes of meeting. I'll show you, which we use it for real time. I'll remove that client names and all. I'll show you in the class. Okay, the same way, the questionnaires, how we can have a questionnaires to ask the questions. Okay, so I'm writing here. You can have a questionnaires. Okay, so in that questionnaire means a simple document where you can have a set of questions. So those questions you can ask, they will answer that. You can just make a note high level, like it's not detail level summary. See, when you ask some question, when business user is answering something, if you start writing everything where you can understand thoroughly or anyone can understand, they don't give time to us. Okay, just the bullet points. You have to just hint. You have to write it. After that, you have to elaborate and you have to prepare other document. Okay. So this is what we have to understand about the meaning of studying system or understanding about client business process. Okay, or else you can say understanding client current business process, you can say. Okay, understanding client current business process. Say client current business process. Okay, here not only the concepts, okay, whatever we know from the fusion payables, what we are aware, all relevant questions you have to ask, but not directly referring the same name. With the generic, by generalizing that concept, you have to ask the questions. And along with that, we have to ask them, okay, how many suppliers you have? In how many currencies you record the transactions? Okay, so daily, how many transactions you create? Daily, how many payments you process? How many bank accounts you have? These are all questions we have to ask. Okay, these are all questions also we have to ask. So those all you can maintain within the questionnaires. Okay, I'll take you through these documents. Okay, for now these are not required. Okay, after some time, just you try to understand the business process. After some time, I'll take you through. Maybe in the next session, time permit, we'll see that. First, let's try to understand what is the business process, what we prepare, what is the name of the document, and all we'll discuss. Once we are comfortable with that, how the document looks like, I'll take you through. So based on these points, any questions from anyone, please? Please think about those and ask questions. Any questions? No questions. Any questions here, please? Okay, I'm trying to explain what does it mean by system study, what we ask and all. So if you need some clarification for anything, if you have any doubts with respect to that, so everything is new for you, right? So you may think something, is it possible? This is what we do. So if you have such kind of questions, let me know, we'll discuss.
Yeah, Lakshman, system study means do we need to prepare the how the business is processing those things as is processed? Do we need to prepare?
Yes, yes, yes. The next point I'm going to talk about that only. So we prepare the document also. First, we understand. The first point is we are studying. Studying means we are looking into the system to understand what systems they are using in the systems, what process they are following, what concepts they are using as per their business process. Everything we have to understand. The first step is just understanding, asking questions and understanding and making a note of the same information as a MOM, minutes of meeting. And a sit with
understanding means do we need to sit with the business and
yes,
how they are doing it?
Yeah, that's what we are discussing, right? We have to sit with the business users. Okay, if you are going to implement for payables, you have to sit with the payables key users. Sometimes the end users also. We sit with them and we ask them, please show how to create so and so, what you are doing, what are the activities you do as a part of payables department, the system, how do you record, everything we have to ask them. We have to be in the client location. We have to be in the client location. We have to sit next to the client. Client in the sense here, business users. Yeah, what we are referring. Okay, we'll make a note of all those points as a minutes of meeting.
Lakshman sir.
Yeah.
So I mean there would be other consultant like SCM or some other persons. Like entire team will sit with the clients, like from finance or from other departments.
No, most of the cases, not entire. In certain scenarios, like when we discuss with the P2P related cycle related discussions process, okay, which happens across the applications, yes, along with the finance, SCM team also can sit. But when we are going to interact with the payables department, receivables department, asset department, or cash and general ledger equal to that, what are the different applications they have? With respect to that, when we discuss, no other teams, no other consultants will sit with us. Okay. The finance consultant will go and sit with the finance team with respect to department. We ask the questions. When we talk about P2P related, there is a connectivity between the SCM and the finance applications. They're like how when you how the when they create, say if they have a, if they says they have a scenarios when they perform the purchase returns, in their current system, what happens in between SCM and the payables application. If they have a concept of when they create receipts, the receipts can create invoice in the payables application. When they talk about these integration related points between the finance and other applications, definitely the other team also will sit, SCM team also will sit in the discussions. When we are going to discuss the specific department related activities, no other consultants will sit. Mostly as a consultant will go and sit. Sometimes manager also can sit. Okay. So that's how it happens. When we discuss about some customizations and integrations and all, along with us, the technical team also will sit with us. We can, there will be this kind of meetings. Otherwise, normally just we go and sit alone with the business users and will discuss. If you are only one consultant for finance, you have to go along. Along with you, if there is one more consultant, you two or you three people will go and sit and discuss with the client. They'll ask the questions, they'll answer that. You have to make a note. Based on that, you can understand what they are doing, what they are not doing. Based on that, what you have to implement, what you don't need to implement from payables and each and every application. And they'll just come up with, apart from these, what we are doing, these are our requirements, but we are not able to do in this system. We are expecting the same in the Fusion application. Then again, you have to see the feasibility, whether those can be implemented by using Fusion or not. So this all that we'll see in the next further steps. We will understand those points also. So this is what we call as system study or understanding client current business process by asking the questions. Okay, for that you may use the questionnaires, or else you can keep everything in your mind ready to ask by referring specific our application. You may not have too much of business knowledge. Okay, if you know about how the payables, within the payables, what we can do, by referring that, you can ask the question. So you can ask like, what are the different reports you are using in current system? What is the purpose of each report? You can ask them, they'll explain that. You can make a note. Equal to that, what which reports we have in our Fusion. Say like they are using 20 reports as per payables department in their current system. Current system means not our Oracle, some other systems. Okay, so that you can call as legacy systems. Okay, legacy system. Before coming to Fusion, what are the systems client is using? Those we call as a legacy system. In legacy systems, how many reports they are running as a part of payables department, you can ask them purpose, you can understand. And you can see that you can ask them to run those reports. You can see what are the columns they have, what are the parameters they have. And similar reports are available from our payables as a serial reports, so that we have to check if the similar reports are available, okay, or else out of 20, only 15 reports are available, similar reports in our applications, payables application. The remaining 5 reports, we have to understand what data need to be captured, and we have to talk to the business technical team, and we'll ask them to develop those reports. We'll see all those. There is a concept called as gap mapping and all. There we'll discuss more detail level. So, any questions here to understand, please? We're talking about studying the system, understanding their business, preparing MOM, minutes of meeting, simple document. And for that, you may use the questionnaires document or you may not use. I'll show you this real-time documents also for your reference. Any questions here, please? Okay. No questions. Right. So after discussing with the business and understanding their business process, okay, understanding their business process, and after making a few key points for everything, you just make a note as a hint, and based on the questions which you are asking directly or else with the help of questionnaire, everything you have to capture into one document. Detail level you have to prepare one document that we call as is document. As is document. As is document means it talks about client current business process. Okay. So after completing system study, after understanding about client current business process, we have to prepare as is document. As is document, as it is, what business they are doing, how they are doing the business. When you say how they are doing the business means not outside of the like system, inside of the system, how they are managing the things. Okay, how they are doing outside of the system, that only they'll bring into the system environment. Everything what they do outside, that they capture in the system as they did that activity, right? So whatever we discuss and understand with the client, okay, so the initial meetings, that information we capture into the document. The document we call as is document. Okay, as is document is nothing but the client current business process document. The client current business process document. This document, after preparing, initially when you prepare this document, we prepare in the draft mode. Okay, we prepare in the draft mode. After that, what we'll do is we'll submit this document to the client. Who prepared? We prepared. How we prepared? By understanding their business. How we understood that business? By sitting with the business users. Who explained about the business? Client only explained. Client business users only explained. So based on the discussions, whatever you figured out, that you have to capture into as is document very detailed. Okay, very summary level, very high level, will make a notes within this MOM. Along with that, okay, whatever you are making the note, along with that, okay, what systems they are using, from where invoice data comes to where payments data goes, or where they are recording invoices, payments, everything, all the concepts, all the activities, what they do in the as a part of payables department. Accordingly, you have to capture the details, and all the details you take into the document called as is document. Okay, as is document, client current business process document. Okay. So within this document, I'll show you the document also. Okay, as is document also, I'll show you after discussing. First, we'll complete the implementation project related implementation project process, what we follow. After once we are comfortable with this process, I'll show you all the documents. I'll show you all the documents. If permits, I'll share those documents also, but I'll see that whether I can update all those documents with the client names and all. It will become a big task for me. I'll see. Okay, Max, I'll try to share. Let me check from my end. Yeah. So this is as is document. Okay, we prepare as is document. How the as is document looks like, what data we capture. Those all points I'll take you through. And but high level, what you have to understand within the as is document, what process they are following, what we understood, those we captured. Okay, what system they are, which systems they are using for payables department to payables department, or else for payables application, from which other application data comes, what is the data inflow for payables application, what is the data outflow from payables application, within the payables, what activities are doing, what process they are following to do those activities. Okay, the sub processes within the payables application, all we capture within the as is document. Who has to prepare this as is document? We have to prepare. And one more point, so very important, when we complete this course, okay, after completing this course, if you are not comfortable with Excel, okay, Excel and I can say like a Word document and PPT, please go through, like there are too many videos in the YouTube, okay, you can go through and get ready with that. You should be able to prepare simple presentations, okay, practice those, and you should know the basic functionalities of how to use the Excel sheets, how to utilize Word documents, okay, and some other like Microsoft Visio. There are some tools which will help us to design the flow diagrams. We will discuss more detail level going forward. Just I'm giving simple hint. Okay, the PPT. Okay, please practice how to prepare the PPTs. When you are part of implementation project, you have to prepare PPTs, PowerPoint presentations, and you have to be comfortable with Excel. See, now I'm writing and I'm capturing data. This is a simple thing. With Excel, what we can do, how to just formatting the data, how to just set some different features from Excel. Try to learn basics of Excel learning, MS Excel, and Word document also. The Word, PPT, and Excel. Okay, please be comfortable with those three applications from Microsoft: Excel application, PPT application, and Word application. Please go through. So you don't need to take training anywhere in YouTube. There are many videos. Spend some time. So one day you can spend for PPT learning. One day you can spend for Excel learning. One day you can learn for Word learning. If you know all these already, well and good, no issues. But get ready. Otherwise, after learning this much, after learning everything, after cracking interview, when you sit in front of system, if they give you some task, please prepare this. If you are struggling to prepare, then story will come to know. Okay, so they'll come to know what is the story. So you should not struggle for small things, and you have to get ready with those small things. So one day spent for Excel learning, one day spent for MS, PPT, one day for Word. That is enough. Apart from that, what else you have to learn also, I'll discuss. Okay, and just spend like 1 day for SQL also. Okay, SQL learning also. Right? Just make a note of these points. Take very serious whatever I'm just suggesting. Fine. So please make a note, like learn PPT, presentations, how to prepare, and Word also, and Excel. And the basic SQL. This is all like I'm just suggesting. Spend 1 day time, that is enough. How to write the basic SQL queries. How to write basic SQL queries. In our classes, we have seen what is the place we can use to write SQL queries, where you can find the tables also. In YouTube, what you can do is just go through the videos, you search for how to write Oracle SQL queries. When you say SQL queries you write by using many databases, Oracle database. Many databases are there in the market, but don't go with a very generic term. Okay, you go, there will be slight difference. That is the reason you can just learn how to write Oracle SQL queries. You just search in the Google, as a YouTube, how to write Oracle SQL queries. Then there will be videos. You just spend time 1 day, you will become good enough. Okay, so good enough. 1 day means not 12 hours or 24 hours. Maybe you can spend 4 or 5 hours. Okay, Max. So that will help you to fetch a good knowledge on SQL, writing SQL queries. Once you go through that video, you can use our instance. We have seen from where you can write SQL queries in the cloud also. So there you can practice. You just query the data related to invoice, you query the data related to payments, you query the data related to supplier, you try to query the data related to receivables transaction or receipt information or asset information. This is how spend some time. For learning, you can spend like maybe 4 or 5 hours, or that much also not required when we talk about SQL. Maybe 2 hours you spend for SQL learning, like select star from so and so table with some where condition in between these classes. Few classes also you learn in the SQL. With that, you can practice on instance how to write SQL queries and all. Yeah, that you have to do. Fine, and that's all. And there are some other tools also I'll recommend. Okay, when you prepare these documents and all, to draw the flow diagrams, we don't use PPT presentations or something else. For that, we have separate tools. By using those tools, you can understand how to prepare the flow diagrams, etc. Which tool you have to use and all, I'll just cover that. Okay, please make a note, take this very serious. That's very important. These you don't require when you attend the interviews. Once you get into work environment, these are very much important. In fact, in the interview also they'll ask you SQL related. Do you know how to write SQL queries? They'll say, if you say yes, tell me how to write the where class. Okay, or else they say simple scenario. I from so and so table, so and so data I want to fetch. Tell me. Or else they says, tell me few key tables in the payables, few key tables in the receivables. That's how they'll ask. What are the transactions, payables where invoice data stores, where payments data stores. Okay, receivables where transaction data stores, receipts data stores. Those are the key tables. Okay, key tables. Just spend some time so that there you can be good enough to answer an interview, or after an interview, and once you get into the work, you won't be having any challenges. Okay. So by understanding the system with all inputs, what we are going to do, we are going to prepare the as-is document. As-is document is nothing but the client current business process. A client only, everything is client only. We don't need to write as a client. Here simply you say current business process. Client only. We are talking about client only. We are not talking about someone else. So here you remove client not required. Implementation project means for client purpose. Simply you say understanding current business process of the client. Here preparing current business process document for the client only. As is means as it is. As is means as of now what they are doing, that we are calling as is. As is means as it is. Any questions on this point, please? Any questions here?
Can you please share the as is process, how we need to prepare?
I'll show you the document. If it is okay, I will share the document also, but I cannot promise now. Let me check how far we have a client information. Let me check, but I'll show you the document in the class. Okay, Max, I'll try to share the document also, but not now. We have to understand the complete implementation process. After that, I'll show and I'll open and I'll explain, and I'll share the documents also. Yeah. You first try to understand what is what, then how it looks like. Yeah, that I'll show and explain. So if I just give you the document, that may not be enough. I have to explain because that's very new to you, right? So this is how we prepared. These are the points we have to understand. That's how I have to explain. I'll explain all those things. See, to understand all these points, okay. So implementation process, implementation, and different type of projects we discuss: a support project, upgrade project, rollouts, and understand many points we have. For all these, we may have to spend, I guess, maybe around like maybe 15 to 20 hours we have to spend, I guess. Okay. So we are going to have the sessions around 15 to 20 hours to understand all this real-time related. Okay. I'll try to explain each and everything very detailed level so that when you attend interviews, you won't have a challenge if there are any questions related to real time. Once you get into the work environment, there won't be any challenges where whatever you hear, whatever you see, mostly everything will come to you as a known. Here we are, I'm going to introduce everything, what we call as what is the meaning of what, everything I'll explain, and I'll take you through those details or documents or process or information so that you will be very much comfortable. Okay. Only what is left from your end is you have to spend time to prepare all this, whatever we discussed in the classes. So get ready with all those and go through all these points and read and remember. When we are discussing any questions, please let me know. Okay. We'll spend 15 to 20 hours time to learn all these real-time related classes as a and the title of real-time classes. I'll take you through 15 to 20 hours classes. Yep. We'll see that. Yep. Any questions here, please? If no questions, we'll move on to next step. Okay.
Lakshman, 15 to 20 hours means when?
Same.
Sorry.
If you are interested,
When
you
we
can
can-
attend these classes. Yeah.
Okay.
Weekend. I'm running in the weekend, right?
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So we didn't include this basically real-time classes as a part of our course curriculum. I thought of including from now for all the batches.
Yeah, okay. That's actually
Because that will help a
Thank
lot.
you.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you may struggle.
Yes. I'm feel this pain because
Yes.
one interview I was stuck in the same kind of scenarios question.
Yeah.
So
That's what.
Yeah.
So that's reality. So let's try to fill that gap also.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. Any question here to what is the meaning? Anyway, we'll see more detail level at this point of time, at this stage. Like, if you have any questions on this place. No questions. So who is going to prepare this as document? We, as a finance consultant, we prepare these documents. How many documents we have to create? For each application, we create separate documents. Payables, we create one as-is document. For receivables, we create one as-is document. For fixed assets, we create one as-is document. This is how, for each application wise, we create as-is documents. For every application. Even for general ledger application also, we create as-is document. Even we don't record the transactions from where data flows into general ledger application, how it comes, how it goes. So that's how we prepare. Equal to general ledger, they might be having some application. By referring that, we create these documents. Okay, we create these documents, we map with our Fusion application related naming conventions. We'll see all those. So as a consultant, we are preparing. Who is providing the data to us? Who is going to provide the data to us? You can answer. When I ask something, you can answer. Client going to provide. When you say client, who is from the client? Some accountant.
Key
users.
Yeah, key users. Exact term is key users. Sometimes end users also may provide. Totally depends. Okay. So when you are getting this data, okay, maybe one user or one accountant or two accountants may provide this data, and it may not be complete data, right? We may not rely 100% the data which they are providing. That is the reason what we have to do is, whatever the information they are providing, we have to capture and we have to prepare as-is document. This as-is document we have to submit for approvals to the client. When you prepare this document, when you share with the client team, then all the people can go through. See, the information may be provided by one or two business users from the client side. There will be a number of people as a part of the departments and the managers and other people leads, etc. These documents will share with everyone who provided this data to those key users and who are part of payables department as a key members and managers, payables manager and leads, etc., whatever the key members they have as a part of departments, will submit these documents to them. Say, submit as is document for client review. Okay, client review will submit. When you submit, then they'll just go through it. If anything is missing, because when we speak to one or two accountants, they may forget something to inform us. This is what we are doing. They may not aware of everything. So that is the reason when we submit this document for client review, the client team will go through it. The payables department, mostly the payables department people will go through this document who are part of this client side team. I'm talking about client side team. Okay. They'll go through the document and they'll read complete information. They'll read and they'll recommend the changes if applicable. Okay. They say, no, you just mentioned so and so. That is not exactly we are doing. So this is what we are doing. Okay. And there are a few more scenarios which we generally come across as a part of our payables department. Those are these scenarios. That's how they'll come back to us. That's how they'll come back to us. And again, sometimes what we do is we can ask the client, could you please include those same what you are telling in the same document and revert to us? We'll ask them. Okay, you are telling so business scenarios are missing as per this document. Can you include those in the same as this document? Can you revert to us? Or else, always good, we can ask the users to give the time to us, client, and we sit with them and we'll discuss. When we discuss and all, we can understand. When they write something, we can see and we can understand, but that is not equal to when we discuss, when we get the information to the client. That is the reason always we prefer to discuss and to bring the data into, bring that information into as is document. But sometimes we tell them like include that also in that and please send me back so that I'll just consider those points accordingly, we'll plan and all. So that's how we submit that as is document for client review. The client team will review who are specialized in the payables process and all. And they'll give some recommendations and they may suggest some changes. They may include some new processes or activities what they are doing in this. And again, by including all those, again we'll submit the document to review. So again, they may find out small mistake. Again, they'll inform us, we'll correct it. Finally, we'll send the document where client will approve it. Why we are sending? They have to review and they have to say, okay. Okay, they have to say, okay, yes, this is what we are doing as a business. This is the process we are following our payables. Okay, after reviewing the client, if any changes required, they recommend and we just do the changes. That's how the client has to accept with the document which is prepared by us and which is their business process. That means by the time you will come to know the complete business process of the client, when you are doing the implementation for first time, it would be great learning for you. Okay, it would be great learning. The reality you are seeing and reality you are understanding, the reality you are just preparing as a document and that which would be approved by client as that is their current process. So once client will review, okay, we have to take the approvals from the client. So I typically we use the term called as sign off. Okay, we send as is document for client to get the sign off. We call it sign off. Sign off. Sign off is nothing but we'll take the approvals. The client says, yes, this is what exactly we are doing. Okay, this is what exactly we are doing. That's how client will give the approvals for the document. So that means that is a finalized document to understand about their current process. That is the meaning of it. Yep. So this is all about the document. as is document. Initially, we'll send the draft. Then they'll come up with the changes. And we'll maintain the versioning also for those documents. Okay. We'll maintain the document version also, that we'll see the classes also. But since here we are talking, so first you can give the just version as a one. We'll send it, and the client suggested something, and you included those changes. Okay, that you can give as a version 1.1 document version. Okay, document version 1.1. And you submitted this document again 1.1 to the client. In the 1.1 you submitted, client suggested two changes. The two changes you included in this, and again you submitted with this version. With this, what is the difference between this version and this version? In this version, the draft mode we submitted, and in this version, the client suggested changes. Two additional changes are there, or two additional activities you included. Now again you are submitting. Okay, that you submitted, and again client identified one mistake that you corrected, that you may name it as 1.2. Okay, in this, what is the difference between version 1 and 1.1 and this? The changes, like one more you include, some changes we did. That's how document versioning we can make. Okay, any documents we prepare, we just use the document version concept, so that you can maintain all these documents. What is sometimes client says no, like whatever I said, so that I suggested wrong, and previous version 1.1 what is included, that is enough. Then just we'll ignore this and we'll proceed with this as a final. I'll show you in the documents also how we update and all those things. Okay. So that is the meaning of taking the sign off from the client. For every document what we prepare related to their business, we have to take the sign off from the client. We have to take the sign off from the client. So any questions on this point, please?
Lakshman, this submitting of document to the client is a recurring process till the time it is signed off, you mean to say?
Yes, exactly.
Starting from the understanding of the business, again, it's a recurring, we need to ask for preparing the
Correct.
as-is document.
Correct.
And for submitting the as-is document is for every different department's coordination, like it may be payable or any other department. So every department we have to submit the as-is document separately?
Yes, separately, because the departments are different. We prepare these documents also different. Okay, so we have to prepare separately. In some companies, in some implementations, what we do is we'll prepare a single document, but that is not recommended. The most of the implementations, we prepare separate documents only, department wise.
And separate document has a separate version for their changes.
Yes, whenever we do the changes, we change the version to understand whether that is a latest or old version. Means there will be old means there are certain things which are wrong and which need to be included and updated. That's so easily you can understand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because just it's as you mentioned, it's a recurring for certain time only. Okay. Say you are submitting this document, say for example 6 or 7 people who are authorized to review and to say okay, yes or no. So one person replied and to do so and so changes, you updated and again you send back. Maybe by tomorrow other person will come back to you saying that so no, this is what we don't need at all. If whatever the suggestions they are giving, those are going to conflict, we'll have a meeting with them.
Okay.
In one meeting we can fix all those. Ideally we just we send it through email, and other side what we do is from our company side also we use certain tools, okay, where we can certain tools or certain repositories where we maintain these documents. Okay. From clients, from our organization side. So we are taking here example as Wipro. Okay, from Wipro side, the project management repositories, in some we can use, and some companies we don't use that directly. We maintain these documents, okay, with us only. So most of the companies, these documents, what we prepare, will move to that project repositories. There will maintain as a kind of documentation repository, and everything we prepare, we upload, and we give to the access to the client, or else manually we share these documents to client. There are different ways, different options. That's company to company, it's varies. Yeah.
Yeah, but Lakshman, every changes that they send it to us as their client wanted to change, it is not individual decision. They make the decision on the changes based
Simple.
on their discussion.
No. Notice one point here. It is not individual. It is business. Company, how they are doing the business. See, you and me are working in same company, the payables department. Do you think there will be individual decisions over there about the
No.
business? Standard process, what the company is following, you and me should know.
Yeah.
Right? So those are not individual decisions. When it comes to something is not possible, there we can sit and discuss. There some individual suggestions or discussion, finalizations may come into picture. Now we are talking about how that department is doing the business. I mean, how they are managing the data with respect to their business activities, that we are discussing.
All
That
right.
is same to everyone, right?
Yes.
Same to everyone. See, one person may not identify, so one person may not aware of everything, other person may know everything. Ultimately, we are trying to capture into the document. So I have sent this document to four members. 2 members may not respond. 2 members may respond. One person may says, please include this process. Sometimes we do this activity. Other person may says, other person may not talk about what is missing. Other person may talk about by reading this document. No, so process you mentioned, in that process, there is step 4. Step 4, we never do it. Okay. You mentioned only 4 steps. Basically, this is the 5 steps process. This is what we do. That's how they may suggest.
Okay.
So ultimately, we should try to capture the reality, what they are doing. For that, if they give the approvals, the document is freezed. That means it's a finalized. Till the time, we have to take the updates from them. Yeah. See, it won't be too many times. We'll just prepare this document, we'll send, we'll tell them, please review the document, and if required, you people can have a discussions and please come back to us. Or else this is a document we prepare. Let's have a meet. Different approaches. Okay. Let's have a meet and we'll discuss. Then the meeting itself, again, they'll be addressing, yes, this is true, this is not true, this is yes, but this is a small point you have to include. This is what we have to understand. Typically, this is the activity we do in this scenario. That's how they come back to us. Again, changes are required, we create one more version. That's all. Max 2-3. Okay. Max 2-3 versions, we can close it.
Okay.
So that's all about preparing as-is document and submitting the client and taking.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
even after sign off, there is might be we have started the implementing and all these things. And after 4 to 5 months, they can come with us and said that against this means whatever the sign off, there is a make it any changes. Then we need
Yeah.
to change this
We
sign off.
include, we incorporate new changes also, new points also, but if those are not going to impact lot. Okay. The small changes, as always, we include. That happens reality also. Okay. After some time, maybe we finalized accordingly, we started working on the system later. After like say project duration is 8 months, and we finalize this document, and after 2 months or 3 months, they may come up with that, okay, this is you please add this also. Yes, we do that. We do that. But it should not impact the overall business process. It should not be totally different process, etc. The small concepts or small activities, what we do in the system, those always we can include. That's how it works. Fine. So that's all about as-is document. Okay, we have to understand about as-is document. I'll show you in the sessions. Okay, I'll take you through the document, how we prepared and all. So after getting sign off, what we have to do is we have to do the mapping. Okay. So once we are very sure about what is their current business process in the specific applications, we have to perform the mapping. So what does it mean by mapping? Okay, what does it mean by mapping? Say mapping means say for example, as per payables department, they need 20 features. Okay. Current infusion. We'll take those 20 just for your understanding purpose how it works. I'm explaining. So what is the requirement as per payables? What we have to implement, we'll take it. So, for example, they want to create standard invoice, debit memo, prepayment, and the different concepts. Say, for example, we identified 10 concepts we have to implement as per their current process. Now, those 10 are available in our Fusion or not, we will check. Okay, let's say first one is invoice creation. Yes, that we have. You can say the client business requirement is mapped successfully with the Fusion applications. That is available. Second one also. So they want to create debit memo. Yes, that is possible. They want to create the advances. Yes, that is possible in the Fusion with the prepayment. They want to process third-party payments. Yes, that is possible. Okay. So sometimes they do the netting, APR netting. That is also possible from payable side or receivable side, that is there. Okay. And they want to set a rule like the one invoice only, one check should be used for specific suppliers. Yes, that is also possible. They want to calculate interest in case of late payments. That is also possible. So for example, they want to capture bank guarantee. Okay, say for example, when they purchase from the few suppliers, the supplier may ask for bank guarantee. They want to capture the bank guarantee related information in the system. For bank guarantee, you don't have any functionality that you can say no. Okay, they want to capture the bank guarantee. Okay, so that we don't have any functionality in the Fusion. And they need, say, for example, reports, few report, they need say, these let's take as a concepts. This is also there, this is also there, you can take. Another one is reports. Reports, they need 20 reports. So, say only exactly 15 reports are available in the Fusion as per the requirement. Remaining here, instead of writing those 20 as separate rows, I'm taking as numbers. The 5 not matched. Okay, client required 20 reports. As per Fusion, 15 reports are available, exact reports what they need. 5 reports what they are looking for, those are not available. So when you do the mapping, you'll come to know, means you'll verify what they need, what we have, what is their requirement, what is possible in the Fusion, that we will just cross check. Okay, so so not matched. This is how we have to specify. This we call as mapping. Client business requirement. What is the client business requirement? Current business process. But again, here will include, apart from their client business process, what else, anything else they are expecting, that also will include and will verify as per system, those are possible or not, we will check. Okay, as per system, those are possible or not, we will check. That we call as mapping. Okay, that we call as mapping. Fine. So this is another point which is very important. We have to understand. So any questions here, please?
Lakshman,
Yeah.
yeah, which kind of reports are there? Means total how many reports are available in Oracle and how we can get this name, all these reports,
Yes, yes.
just for reference.
Yeah, you can go to reports and analytics. There we have a folder options, right?
Yes,
Do you remember?
not exactly, but yeah, I will check.
Yeah, there you can. I'll show you that. Otherwise, I'll show you in other way also, like finding reports and roles application specific. Yeah, I'll take you through that. Okay.
Yes, yes, thank you.
You can find once again. There are other options also to find. I'll take you through those also. So as per the current business requirement, as per client business requirement, business process, what they need, which are possible, which are not possible. This is how we have to identify. Any questions on this, please? No questions. Now, first what we are doing the mapping. Mapping is nothing but as per client requirement, okay, whether the solutions are available from our application, that we cross check, that we verify. The verification process only we call as mapping. Okay, the verification process only we are calling as mapping. When you do the mapping, we may identify gaps. Okay, we may identify gaps. This you can say mapping, you can say, or else to elaborate this more detailed level, you can say requirement mapping. Okay, the requirement mapping, the client requirement, what is the requirement they have, that we map, we check with our Fusion applications. Let's take payables only, one application. The same logic is applicable every application. We can understand. So in payables, whatever the business requirement that we are mapping with the Fusion applications, Fusion payables, that we are calling as a mapping or requirement mapping. We map the requirement, client requirement with our standard application. Okay, what Oracle is providing. When you do this mapping, what happens? Say, for example, you are doing the mapping. Here you identified the eighth feature is related to bank guarantee. Okay, say for example, they place one order and the supplier has to supply some material which is worth of 10 crores. Now, once we receive 10 crores worth of the material, if you are not going to make the payment and if we start playing the game, that is a big risk to that supplier. That is the reason they may ask for bank guarantee. Bank guarantee means as a customer, we have to get guarantee from our bank. That means we should have funds in our bank account and we'll go and ask our banker to provide the guarantee. Okay. That guarantee will send to the supplier stating my bank is given the guarantee. If I am not going to pay, my bank is going to pay. That bank guarantee supplier will send to their bank and their bank will keep in touch with our bank and they'll make sure that yes, our bank is ready to make the payment to supplier in case we are not going to pay. That kind of guarantee, if they are going to have in their business process to capture the data, we don't have a functionality. So let's say our client has a requirement of maintaining the bank guarantees. What are the guarantees they are giving to their suppliers that they want to record in the system? The detailed information they want to record in the system. So for that, there is no option. So that we call as a gap. Okay, this is one of the gap. And here they need 20 reports, but only 15 reports are available. 5 reports, whatever they need, those are not available as per standard reports which Oracle is providing. So by doing the gap analysis, you can find the gaps. Okay, we find the gaps. How many gaps we identified? 2 gaps. One is bank guarantee. Other one is 5 reports. Okay, 5 reports. These we identified the gaps. By doing the mapping, we can identify the gaps. Sometimes we may not identify the gaps. Everything may map successfully, 100%. 100% you may map. That sort of, if whatever client requirement that is matching 100% with the standard product which Oracle is providing without any gaps, that kind of implementations we call as vanilla implementations. Vanilla implementations. I'll talk about, okay, we have a different type of projects here. Okay, when I cover all these, along with that, what are the different naming conventions we have, in which scenario, what name we can use for that implementations and all, that also I'll cover. For now, just take that point. If everything is going to match as per business, client business, if everything is available in the Fusion applications, means without much customizations, if we are going to do the implementation, that we call as vanilla implementation. Okay, so you know vanilla ice cream, right? What is the difference between vanilla ice cream and other ice creams? Strawberry, butterscotch, or so and so. What is the difference?
Maybe vanilla doesn't have any flavors, or
Yes.
maybe
No additional stuffing. Vanilla ice cream means just it's a plain, right? Other ice creams, there will be some stuffing, okay, flavors, this and that they'll add. The same way, if you are going to use Fusion applications as it is how Oracle is providing, that we call as vanilla implementation. If you are going to use Fusion applications as it is how Oracle is providing, that should be that should be able to support your business process. As per your business process, Fusion application is good enough without doing any changes, that we call as vanilla implementation. Means you are not adding anything to standard product which Oracle is providing, no additional stuffing. Okay, so what Oracle is providing as it is we are going to use, that we call as vanilla implementation. Okay, we'll discuss the relevant points later. For now, we'll proceed with that. Okay, when you do the gap mapping, you may identify the gaps, or else everything may be mapped successfully. Okay, so they need so and so, those all are available in the Fusion. Then you can say 100% the client requirement is mapped with our Fusion applications. Sometimes you may find the gaps. So these are the gaps. When you have the gaps, what you have to do is you have to find out the solution, how to go about this. Okay, how to go about this? You have to find out the solution. You have to find out the solution. To find out the solution, you have to analyze this. You have to analyze this. The analysis only you call as gap analysis. We do the gap analysis. Okay, we do the gap analysis. So how do we do the gap analysis? These are the gaps. Now what we have to do is, okay, bank guarantee information they want to capture. Okay, so they need one new form. That means customization. We have to do the customization. Bank guarantee, we have to do the customization. Now again, the question is, what client is using? Okay, what client is using? Client is using, the question is, client is using SAS or PAS? That is the question. They need bank guarantee. Okay, they want to capture bank guarantee information. Okay, So if they are going to if they want to capture bank guarantee, if they want to capture bank guarantee information in the system, we don't have certain functionality. That is the reason we are calling it as a gap. Now, how to fill this gap? How to fill this gap? Client need bank guarantee information need to be captured in the system, but it is not possible. So now that we can achieve with the customization. With the customization, what we can do is you can create one new page to capture the bank guarantee information. However, we have an invoice creation page, payment creation page. In the same way, what are the details they required? With those all the details, you can create one page. There we also involve as a functional consultant. We'll talk about it when we do the customization. What we have to do, we'll discuss. So if there is any bank guarantee requirement, since the page is not available, we have to create the new page that we are calling as a customization. If the client is using SaaS, that won't be in the scope, not possible. They need bank guarantee, we have to do the customization. If it is SaaS, in SaaS, we cannot do page customization. It's not possible. Okay, not possible. In SaaS, that is not possible. If they are using PaaS, yes, that is possible. In case of PaaS, we can do the customizations. Okay, they are using SaaS only, they need bank guarantee, customization is not possible. What is the alternative solution? Okay, what is the alternative solution? That we have to find out. Okay, that we have to find out. So maybe they want to capture that information. Since customization is not possible, we may go with some workaround. Workaround means alternative solution. Okay, alternative solution. So customization is not possible. With the customization, you can achieve that. You can create a new page and they can capture that information and all. If it is not possible, you may just capture that information with some DFF concept. Descriptive flex fields. In certain pages, wherever they want to manage, they want to capture that, or else you can suggest to the client, since it is not possible in the system, to maintain this bank guarantee information outside of the system, but we will allow you to capture with, if you are going to create any invoice against any supplier, so already which bank guarantee you given to that supplier, that information we will allow you to capture through DFF, descriptive flex fields. Okay, we will give you the option. We will enable the descriptive flex fields in invoice creation page. There we will give you the fields. So which information you want to inform to your supplier, or which information you want to capture against every invoice. This invoice you are getting from supplier, these so-and-so material received from supplier against which bank guarantee. Those details, if you want to capture, you can capture. Since you are using SaaS, since customization is not possible, you keep that bank guarantee documents outside of the system. When you are creating invoice, the bank guarantee number and the reference details you can enter in the system. For that, we provide descriptive flex fields and you can capture. That's how we will identify the solution, how to provide the solution. 5 reports means, so it could be SaaS or PaaS. Customization is possible for reports. So reports customization. So reports customization. It could be SaaS or PaaS, reports can be customized. So what are the gaps we identified? How to fill those gaps? How we are discussing, okay, bank guarantee, we have to do the customization. We are using, client is using SaaS, not possible. Client is using PaaS, yes, possible. Since client is using SaaS, not possible, what is the alternative? We are providing the solution for the client. We can tell them it is not possible, you cannot maintain since it's a SaaS. So you can do one thing. So you don't need to enter bank guarantee information in the system, the complete documentation information. Okay. So when you are going to create invoice, that invoice level, the bank guarantee document you can attach. Invoice creation time, we have attachments. There you may attach that bank guarantee. Along with that, if you want to capture as a part of invoice creation, we can enable the DFF. There you can capture the bank guarantee information. When we talk about reports, yes, we will develop those 5 reports. How you need, you please let us know. That's what we tell to the client. So if, say for example, we are going to prepare, okay, we are going to prepare reports customizations or bank guarantee customization. When you do the customization, again, we have to involve in that customization to provide the functional specification to the technical team. Okay, technical team. Functional specifications. We have to prepare certain documents to provide the functional specifications. Right? So here I can say, so we identify the gaps and we do the gap analysis. First, we do the mapping. Through mapping, we find the gaps. Finding gaps, and we have to do the gap analysis. Right? After doing gap analysis, we have to find out the solutions. Through gap analysis, what we can do, we can find out the solution. These are the two gaps. Ultimately, you are finalizing the solutions as enable the descriptive flex fill and the invoice creation screen. There you can attach that bank guarantee file, as well as you can capture the additional details within the invoice creation screen itself. And when you talk about reports, we can, yes, we will develop the reports, whatever you need, which are not available in the application. That means the solution. You have to provide the solutions for the gaps which are identified. Gap related solutions. We are not talking about standard solutions. See, these are the requirements. The solutions are available as a standard from Oracle. I'm not talking about those solutions. Gap solutions against the gaps. Okay, solutions against the gaps. That's what we have to find out. Fine. When you provide the solutions, for the custom solutions, what we have to do is, being a functional consultant, okay, say for example, they need the 5 reports, or else they need the bank guarantee page, whatever it may be. So as a part of providing the solution, we have to prepare one document. Within the document, say for example, they need 5 reports. For 5 reports, we prepare 5 documents. In each document, we describe about what report they need, in which application the report required. The report should fetch which data in that report, which columns are required, and which parameters are required in that report. That's how we prepare separate documents for each and every report, as well as for bank guarantee also, or something else they need. For that also, we have to create the one separate document, being a functional consultant. Okay, the functional consultant, being a functional consultant, when we are going to finalize with the solution, how we are going to provide this. If it is standard solution, you don't need to do that. If it is a gap related solution where customization is required, we have to prepare the document. The document we call as functional specification document. Okay, functional specification document. In short, you can call as functional spec. When there is customization requirement, okay, if there is any customization requirement related to reports or any functionality or anything else, whether that is possible or not totally depends on whether they are using the SaaS or PaaS or on-premise environment. We discussed, right, what is on-premise, SaaS, PaaS, right? That is secondary. Okay. So if there is any, if it is a SaaS, already you know, like what is possible, what is not possible. Reports customization is possible, some functionality customization is not possible. If it is a PaaS, yes, it's a possible. We discussed, right? The respective session, we discussed all those points. In case of on-premise also, on-premise, everything is possible. Any customizations are possible. In SaaS and PaaS, yes, reports customization is possible. Here also possible. And the customization means page customization is not possible in SaaS. Page customization is also possible in the PaaS. That's what already we discussed. So based on that, you have to create functional specification document. You can call as function spec. Okay. Let me close that bracket. You have to prepare functional specification document. I'll show you how to prepare. I'll just prepare one document also in our classes for our better understanding. Now, as a part of process, to understand the process, let me explain those. In the functional specification document, okay, if you are going to create functional specification document for one new report development, to create the new report, the report need to be developed by technical team. So who is going to say they need 20 reports client? when we do the mapping, we'll identify which are available as per standard product functionality as a standard reports, which are not available, that we can identify in the mapping. So ideally we come across which are not mapped as a gaps. To fill those gaps, those reports need to be customized. That means the reports requirement is from the client. Now, if any report need to be developed as a functional consultant, okay, I'll take these points here. So for example, we are going to prepare one new report. The requirement is one new report is required, 1 or 5 or 100 doesn't matter, processes. So the detailed requirement we take from the client. Okay. We'll take detailed report requirement from client. So we'll go and talk to the client. Being a finance consultant, say for example, you are working for payables department, payables application, and we identified 5 reports are not available in the Fusion, what they are asking. Then we will sit with the client. If it is available, okay, we'll sit and we'll discuss once again with the client. Yes, this 20 out of 20, 15 reports are in the scope of standard product, which you are at least providing. 15 reports are available. The rest of 5 reports are not available. So we will customize, we will develop those reports and you can use. Ultimately, you will have a 20 reports as per your requirement. We'll talk to the client. Okay, take detailed report requirement from the client related to report. And after taking, we have to prepare functional spec. Okay, we have to prepare functional spec. Prepare functional spec document. Functional spec is nothing but functional specifications document. In the specification, short name is spec. Functional spec document. Okay, functional spec document we have to prepare. Functional spec document, what we capture. Okay, for each report we create one separate document. For each we'll create the separate document. In this document we'll specify what is the purpose of the report, in which application the report is required. The report will capture which data. In that report, which columns are required, means what exact data it has to be captured, which columns are required. For each column, is there any calculation is required? And when user is going to run this report, what parameters are required? This report need to be submitted BU wise or supplier wise or period wise or date range or what exactly? Okay. So all these parameters we'll discuss with the client, and what are the information client is providing, that we will capture into functional spec document. Okay, functional spec document. Going forward, I'll show you how to, I'll show you a few sample, not sample, real functional specs for our understanding. Okay, so you can understand how the functional spec documents looks like. How to prepare also I'll explain. After preparing functional spec document, this we have to share to the technical. Share. Okay. Functional spec document to technical consultant. Okay. So being a functional consultant, we take the requirement from the client. Remember these points. If any customization, yes, technical people are going to do, but we should support them. Okay, technical people never go to the client to take the reports requirement or some other requirement. Being a functional consultant, we have to take those. Okay. We take the requirement, mostly 99% only functional people will have interaction with the client. The technical people never involved in the interaction. Sometimes if any meeting related to some technical objects or etc., there they'll involve. Otherwise, no interaction is required for technical people with the client, only functional. So we take the requirement, detailed requirement from the client, that we address the document called as functional spec, functional specification document. And then we will prepare, we will send that documents to technical team. We will share with them Okay. If the technical team is available in our client location, yes, we will sit with them. We will prepare the document, we'll send to the technical consultant and we'll sit and we'll explain them. If technical consultants are working from offshore development center, already discussed, right? Okay. So somewhere we discussed ODC, offshore development center. Means we are in the client location, technical team is sitting in some different location in our office. Now we are in the client office and the technical team is sitting in another location. So in that case, just we'll have a meeting. Okay, we'll send the document, we'll connect a meeting, we'll conduct the meeting, and through meeting we can explain them. Okay, this is the so-and-so requirement they have. For that, I prepared the functional spec document. Let's go through the document. Like if you have any queries, let me know. Or else we will walk through, we will explain. If they have some questions, they will ask us. So that's how we will share the document to the technical consultants. Then technical people will develop the report. Okay, based on the specifications, what we given, which parameters, which column, what data it has to fetch, what calculations are applicable, what conditions are applicable when we are going to prepare the reports, all will include within the functional spec, function specification document. Based on that, they'll prepare the report. Okay, based on that, they'll prepare the report. So that means the technical consultant, okay, technical consultant prepares or say develop. Technical consultant say develops report. Okay, technical consultant develops custom report. Okay, so technical consultant can develop the custom reports. After developing the custom report, they will register that custom report in instance. Okay, they'll develop, they'll register it. Means registering means in the which instance we need. Initially we'll work on the test instances of it. Okay, in those instances they will deploy the report. Okay, they deploy custom report in instance. And initially, like in the test instance, they deploy. Their deploy means they'll place it, they'll register it, they'll keep available that report, and they will inform us. They'll inform us saying that as per the function spec, what are the document we shared, accordingly we develop the report, and the report is available in the source instance. We deployed in the source instance. Now, being a functional consultant, we have to do the testing. We have to perform the testing for custom reports. As a functional consultant, we do the testing. So how we do the testing? So as per the requirement, sorry. So as per the requirement, the report is fetching the data or not. So in all the required columns, data is fetching and the calculations are working. It is summing or subtracting, etc., what client says. Accordingly, the report is fetching, and the parameters, whatever we requested as per requirement, the parameters are presented when you are running the report. By selecting those parameters, we'll run the report. Yes, when you select the supplier name, only the supplier data is displaying or not. If you select specific site, only the supplier site information related invoices only is showing or not. Or else if you give some period range, as per period range, the report is generating or not. If you give date range, as per date range, it is generating or not. Exactly what parameters we have in the report, all we will verify. We do the testing. And again, we will just check when we submit that report, it is fetching the data immediately, or is there any performance related issues with that report? Those also will look into all those. And after checking, we have to talk to the technical consultant saying that, okay, the report format, look and feel is okay, but so-and-so parameter, if I take the parameter like this, it is not working. We will inform. will inform, or else if any other changes are required, those changes will update in the functional spec only. Say client is saying we need one more column. Again, we'll go back and we'll include that additional column or additional parameter in the functional spec. The updated function spec will send to the technical team. Accordingly, they'll do the development, they'll include all those and they'll deploy, again we'll test. So that's how we have to make sure that the report is up to the mark. As per client requirement is working, the performance wise also, there is no issues. If everything is fine with the report, but when you submit this report, it's taking time to fetch the data. Then we'll talk to the technical team only, technical consultant. So stating there is some performance issue with this report. If I submit this report to generate output, it is taking 5 minutes time, 10 minutes time. Then they'll just look into that. They'll do the performance tuning and all to the report from technical point of view. They'll fix that issue. And again, they'll get back to us saying that now you can test the report. We will test it. If it is working fine, yes, then we call the client. Okay, then we'll show to the client. See, this is the report you asked, we developed, the report is available. So see, I'm going to run this report. This report need to fetch the invoices data only for so-and-so limited columns. Yes. See, this is how I'm running. These are the parameter you asked. If I select so-and-so parameter, as per the parameter report is getting generated, you see that the calculations are working. It is summing that amounts and it is displaying so-and-so. So whatever they asked, whatever mentioned in the functional spec, as per that the report is working or not, we will explain, we will run the report and will show, and we'll ask the client, you please run it. You please submit this report, how it is working, you let us know. That's how they look into that. After going through that, everything is fine. Client may ask, please include one more column. Or else, no, this parameter is not required. We thought to have this, but it is fetching this data in this scenario, it is not applicable. Ignore that parameter. The same you have to update in the functional spec document. Again, as a new version, we have to send to the technical team. Again, in the report development section, they will do the required modifications. Say client is saying this parameter is not required, if they remove it. They're asking one more new column is required, yes. Okay. And again, they'll include that client logos and all, company logos also in the report, and what else, what report format is required, the report they require in which different formats, PDF and Word, this and that. The client says, okay, what they need, accordingly, we have to get ready. Finally, we have to, so we'll present to the client. Let me write that. We'll present to client. We do the testing. Okay, the custom report we test, and if everything is working fine, okay, or any changes, again we get back to the technical consultant, and they do the modification. They'll fix that issues. If anything is there, again they'll inform us. Again we'll test. Since there are any issues, again we contact. They'll fix. Again we test. If everything is working fine, then we can present to the client. If client recommends some changes, yes, again, the changes we have to update in the functional spec. And again, that updated functional spec we have to send to the technical team. They develop, they do the changes, and again, they'll deploy, and we have to test again. And again, we have to present to the client. And finally, we have to take the sign off. Okay, we present, client has to say, yes, exactly, this is what we need. That means we present to the client and we have to take the approvals from the client. For that report, we have to take the sign off. You can call as sign off. Ideally, we use sign off, or you can call as approvals. Here, approving means client is saying, okay, we are okay with that report. We are happy with that report. So this is how we have to do, not only for reports, it could be page development or anything. See, if it is a report, in the report, which row, which columns we require, which parameters we require, that's how we create functional spec, functional specification document. If it is something like, say, developing the bank guarantee related functionality in the system, the page, we prepare functional spec only. As a functional consultant, we take the requirement from the client. Say, for example, we have to do the customization of some page. So we sit with the client and we take the detail, the page requirement from the client, what columns they require, okay, what fields they required, and how the fields need to be classified into different sections. which field should have a dependency and which field, okay, total how many fields required, what data they want to capture into that page. That's how we take all the information and we list out. Okay, in the functional specification document, it could be report or page, each column or each field for what purpose, what data we are going to enter, or what data should be available in the field from application. So everything we address, and we will do the functional design also for that page. Okay, how the page should looks like. Just a will simple, we will draw it. Okay, simply we will do the drawing to that, and then the top there should be like bank guarantee number, and bank guarantee is provided by which bank, and all the details. Okay, the bank address and other details, everything will just what information we want to capture as a bank guarantee, everything that will be prepared in the functional spec. That document will send to the technical team and we will discuss. It's not like we send and leave it to the technical. We have to discuss. We have to discuss with them. This is a requirement we have from the client. We have to develop the new page to capture the bank guarantee. See, I've included all the details. This section talks about the bank guarantee header information. This is the line information. This is so and so. And this is how the fields they required, and the field length should be this much because that they want to write the long description for that bank guarantee related, or else here they are going to enter the numbers only. This field should allow them to enter only number. Here alphanumeric they can enter, here only text. Here they need LOB list of values where they have to select supplier name to which supplier they are giving the bank guarantee, and this is the field which is required to select the bank account name or bank account name or bank name, which bank is giving the bank guarantee. They should be able to select the banks and suppliers which are available in our system. These fields should support for that. These are the fields, dynamic fields where you can enter the data. So everything we have to capture into functional spec. Functional spec document. I'll show you how those looks like. Okay. So everything we capture and we'll explain, we'll give to the technical team, they develop and they'll deploy and we test. If it is a bank guarantee page, like once technical people develop this, once it's ready, we'll enter the data in that page and we'll submit whether that is getting stored or not. Once it's stored, once again, if you want to see the same data, whether you are able to find the records and you are able to open the records, if you want to edit, you are able to edit. And based on the status, when you can edit, when you cannot edit that bank guarantee. These are all like we have to do the testing. When you do the testing, if something goes wrong, something is not working properly, if say technical people could not understand properly based on our functional spec, again, we have to talk to them and we have to guide them accordingly. They will develop, they do the changes. Again, we have to test. Once everything is tested, if everything is working fine, okay, we present to the client. And when client go through that new development, new page for bank guarantee, again, they can say like, okay, this is okay. If they say okay, well and good, or else they may say, we forgot to include one more field, so and so, please incorporate it in this customization. That also we have to include. Before we go and include that in the page, we have to include in the functional spec document. Okay, so functional spec document we have to prepare. In that document with the new version, we will share with that. Again, technical people, as per the changes, they'll do the changes in the development of the page. Again, we have to test it. If it's working fine, then we will present to the client. If client says, client provides a sign off. Okay, if client is going to sign off, that we have to finalize, or they may give the approval. So then that client can use it. This everything will happen in the test environment or development environment. So we'll see that. Okay, if everything is fine, this will be moved to production when we are going to work on the production. So this is a cycle. This is a process involved if you are going to do any reports or page related customization. In case of integrations, how it will work, I'll explain later. Say we are, as a functional consultant, we are preparing functional spec. We'll share this the same document to the technical team. The technical team is going to develop. When they are going to develop, they prepare one document, okay, based on our functional spec. Okay, functional specs talks about how we need report, how we need that page and all. When technical people are going to develop the report, they will prepare some technical specification document. The technical team will prepare technical specification document. I'll just I'll walk through. I'll show you that. Technical not required, but for your information purpose, okay, we'll show like all these reports we are discussing very generic purposes, based on generic purposes. But if you are going to use AIM methodology, application implementation methodology, what we call as a functional spec, if you are going to use OEM methodology, how do you call? We'll discuss all those. Okay, first of all, we'll take all this, what documents we have to prepare, what is the process, we'll understand. After that, based on the methodology, what is the naming convention? Generally, when you attend interview, you tell me what are the documents we use in case of AIM methodology, what are the documents we use in OEM methodology, or else what are the documents you prepare, what purpose you prepared as a part of implementation. That's how you'll face some questions. So that's the reason you should be aware of all these parts. Fine. They'll prepare a technical specification document. What information they can include in functional specification document? What information included? What report they need? What purpose? What are the columns? What is the data we are going to enter in each and every column? What are the formulas, calculations required? What parameters we require? Based on that, technical people will prepare the technical specification document. Within that, they'll include, to develop such kind of reports, such kind of columns and fields or some parameters, etc. What coding they are going to write, what programming logic they are going to follow, what script they are going to use. Okay, all those technical aspects of information they will provide in the technical specification document. To develop the report, they'll specify from which tables they are going to take the data, from which columns they are going to take the data. And this is how we have to prepare. They will prepare the data within that by following that programming logics and the tables, columns, they'll develop the report. Why we have to prepare this functional specification document? To make technical consultant to understand, to develop the report. I may explain to my technical consultant and they can develop. That is also possible. But we should prepare this functional specification document. One point is to make the technical people to understand what is the exact and detailed requirement of the report. Another point is this is very much required in future. Say for example, I am working in this project as a part of implementation. I explained to my technical consultant what report my client required. They'll prepare. After some times I may quit from the project. And then what base the report is developed means if I want to, some other consultant wants to know, there won't be any information. If I prepare functional specification document, so it would be easy for other consultants to understand based on which functional specifications, which documents are prepared. Tomorrow, if they want to add one more columns or two more columns or one more parameter or one more field or something else, if functional specification document is there, which is used to develop any other reports or pages, by using the document, they can go for next version. What else they want to include, easily they can include in that, they can share to another technical consultants. Even they can understand, okay, based on this parameter, this column, this field, so and so, development is done. And easily they can understand, easily they can modify. If there are no documents, there are no clues. Reports are developed on what base? Again, they have to open and we have to see, being a functional consultant, we cannot understand anything. What are the some pros and cons related to the report? A lot of information we cannot understand. That is the reason always we prepare the documents if you are going to do some customization. And he said our technical consultant quit from the project. New technical consultant came to the project. How they developed that custom report or custom page, what logic they followed, what procedures or some packages or something, the technical logic they followed, they cannot understand. By opening that report or the page, technical point of view, they can read and understand, but there is no complete information. So what the technical consultant followed to develop the report, or page, there won't be any information. If technical consultant can prepare technical specification document, that will be very much useful for the same consultant or the consultants who are going to work on the same project in the future. If they are going to touch the same customization for further modifications or for any other purposes. So that is the reason these documents, what are the documents we prepare in the projects, those are very, very important. Okay. With the document, we can complete the current activities, what needs to be done. And these documents are very much useful in the future for other consultants who are going to work on the same projects. So this is what we have to understand. Basically, the developments and all takes place in the development instance. If client is not using development instance, the developments, the customizations we call as developments. Okay, the customization or development, both are same. Customizations or developments are done in the development instance. If client is not going to use the development instance, we do the technical people do the development in the test instances only. After testing, we present to the client, we have to take the sign off approvals from the client. Then finally, by the time we get ready with the production, these customizations, it could be report or pages, these technical people will move to production. We will discuss what is the production, how it works, etc. When production will come into the picture and all. So this is all about customization. Not only report, it could be page or any customization. I'm not talking about integrations. I'll talk about integrations later. Okay. So when you do the mapping, okay, when you do the mapping, nothing but requirement mapping. What requirement they have, that we map with our standard application product, the standard product functionality, you can say. Whatever available as per payables, receivables, we will map. When you do the map, you can find the gaps. You may find, may not find. If you find the gaps, this is the process. If you don't find the gaps, it's very good. We'll find the gaps and we have to analyze which gap you have to fill how. So you did the gap analysis, you identified the solution, the gaps can be filled with the customization. If you are going to do the customizations, being a functional consultant, you have to take the detailed requirement from the client and you have to prepare function spec, functional specification document, and share the same document with the technical team. Not only just sharing, we have to discuss with them. If technical team is available along with us, we have to sit and discuss, or else we should have a call or screen sharing, some meeting and all. We will open the document, we will explain, we'll discuss, because we are going to make sure that that is going to be received by technical team. What we are writing in the document, they have to understand properly. If they don't understand properly, we cannot get proper report as outcome. So we have to explain. Even if everything is described in the functional spec, you have to speak out about the same what you written. If they have any questions, they'll understand. If you don't explain them, simply if you send functional spec, I shared on document by following that, please develop one custom report. They say so, yes. And when they try to do something, they may understand in the different way. That is the reason you have to give more clarity about it. Okay, or else they'll just try to do it. If they don't understand, again, they may not contact back to you. They may be busy with some other works, they may delay. If tomorrow or day after tomorrow you are going to contact that technical consultant, that report is ready, they says, yes, I was doing some point, I was not, some point I could not understand. I was trying to reach you, you are not reachable, or something. And why can't you send email? Yes, I thought of sending this and that. That's how there will be delay. So that is the reason the best practice is share functional spec and have a call with the technical team if they are not available in the client location where you are in, or else if client location, immediately share the document and open the document and discuss with the client, or else you call this technical consultant to your desk and you explain, or else you go and meet them and you explain. That's very important. Based on that, rest of process will be smooth. So they'll prepare the programming related document, logics, what they are following, they develop, they deploy. Deploy means they'll just register, which is available to run. Means they'll create the jobs and all against that report to run. And we do the testing and we'll show to the client. We'll ask the client to test this report. After everything is fine, client will give the sign up. Client will give the approvals. So this is how that customization can be done, and that would be our role. What is our role? Taking requirement, preparing functional spec, and sharing the document to technical people and explaining. Once development is done, and we have to test it. If anything need to be modified, and you have to update in the functional spec, again you have to share with the technical team, and they do the changes. Again we have to test, and other responsibility, other activity what we have to do is we have to present to the client any changes. Again you have to incorporate in the functional spec, again pass to technical and explain it. Again they will deploy the changes and again test it, again show to the client, take the approvals. Then custom report would be ready, or custom page would be ready, or you can say custom component is ready. The report is one component, page is one component. That's how we call. So this is what we have to understand about customization. Any questions on this, please? Don't think this all we have to do. Okay, yes, we have to do, we'll have enough time. It is not like now we are discussing 1 day or 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Within 4 or 5 days, we are going to discuss all these implementation related activities. But when we are doing this, we may do in 6 months or 8 months or 10 months, we'll have enough time to do all this, to learn and do also. So you don't need to worry about it. Just try to aware of what happens, what triggers, what runs, what happens as a part of implementation, how it works, whose responsibility is what is the sequence of activities we have to do. These are the points you should aware. Okay, let's try to learn as much as we can learn being outside. When we enter into project, so these all will help us. Any questions here, please? Any questions from anyone? No questions? Okay, cool. If you don't have any questions, okay. Or else if you are not understanding, let me know. Okay, if you are not understanding any point, let me know. Because you are not able to understand, you don't have any question, or you are understanding, you don't have any questions. That I need that clarity. Okay, my target is I want to make you to understand each and every point. Okay, are you able to understand, or you are not at all getting, or what exactly? Please let me know.
No, not able to get on the gaps analysis, sir.
Sorry.
Fit gap analysis, I'm unable to get it, sir.
Okay, fine.
Gap analysis.
Yeah, gap analysis means how to fill the gap, we will analyze. See, these are the gaps. See, for example, take simple example. You want to go to your hometown from your current location. Okay, you booked bus ticket, bus is missing. Now what you will do? What will
Alternative solution. Alternative solution.
you will start thinking, right? Now to go there, I don't have any train facility, so I cannot go by train. And any private services, do we have cab and all? No.
Yes.
Do we have some flight facility? No. Then how to go? So there is no other option than let me take car from my friend, or else you have your car. I'll go by car. This is how you analyze, right? Finding the solution. Yeah.
Yes.
That only we are calling it as a gap analysis. There is an issue for you. Okay, you want to travel, the bus is missing. Now how to reach? Here, something client is required that is not there in our application. How to provide it? Thinking and finding the right solution, that we call as gap analysis. Still, if you don't understand, there is no other option to explain and understand. Okay, I have to ignore it. Any other questions, please?
Lakshman,
Yes.
means there is a customized report, right? So do you have any name for customized report, 2 to 3 names, where means which is not available in Oracle, but you gone through in your
See, it is not like some fixed custom report where you can find everywhere. It totally depends on the client requirement. Maximum
yes.
which required by each and every department, Oracle is providing. Okay. So as a part of the documents related discussions, I'll show you a few custom related reports also, which we developed.
Yeah, so means which is not available in Oracle, but you have
That's what
already,
I'm
yeah,
telling.
okay.
Whatever I said, you are repeating from your end.
Yeah, same. I got it.
Yeah. Fine.
Hey,
Any
Lakshman, I know we are in customization, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have covered this point already.
Please.
From my side, I'm a functional person, and there are points in job descriptions that functional support is required in integration. I'm not sure if this is something that
Yeah.
you can probably cover in
Yes,
2
yes,
minutes.
yes. I mentioned
what
on point,
exactly-
right? I mentioned on point. Now we
Okay.
discussed about what we have to do as a part of some report customization or some page
Right.
customization. I will discuss about in case of integrations, what we have to do. I'll explain later, I said.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Integration is different aspect. Okay. Integration
Right.
is different aspect. We have to understand about other system, from which system we are bringing the data, what data there. Discuss those. Yeah, we'll discuss those going forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because integration never comes under like a kind of gap. It is a requirement. Other systems, if you want to bring the data, that is not a gap. Within the application, what we have, what we don't have as per requirement, those we call as gaps. That is the reason that I'm not taking under this gap list.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, I'll just, I have a plan of discussing since we are came into light. I'll make a note here better. Okay, integrations, our role, what we will do as a part of integrations, being a functional consultant. We'll discuss. Any questions, please? Any questions? No questions. Okay. So you can expect around 20 hours discussions on this real-time related implementation. Okay. We'll spend time and we'll discuss. So our schedule is 7 to 10 o'clock, right? It's almost 10. Even if I pick something else, we have to spend more time. So from here, there are many other activities. What we discussed, maybe very less. Okay, we'll discuss like these are the very initial stage of implementation where we do all this. So after once your functional specs documents are created, the solution is designed. After that, what is the next step? What are the activities we do in that specific activity? What would be our role? How the different parties can be involved. We will discuss all those points. Okay. So we completed up to finding the mapping, finding the gaps, and analyzing those gaps, and finding the solution for the gaps, and to fill the gaps. So if any customization, if you want to fill the gaps, the functional specification documents need to be prepared. So once those are prepared, the solution will be developed by technical team. Okay. Okay. So then customizations. Okay. Functional spec we prepared. That is the process. Everything I don't need to write as implementation process. That is specific activity related process, customization related process. After preparing functional specification document, the technical people will create the technical reference document. Okay. Technical specification document. Okay. So since that we don't do it, I am not taking it here. Okay, that you remember. Okay. So then customizations will take place. Customizations based on the functional spec, technical people will perform they'll get ready with the customizations. Okay. Customizations you can say, or else you can say developments. Custom objects developments also you can call. So far, whatever we discussed, so far in the sense, not only today, yesterday also, you can count yesterday discussions also. Based on yesterday, what we discussed and what we discussed today, any questions from anyone, please? You can expect these sessions minimum 20 hours. We'll see, like it may stretch to more than 20. You can expect these classes, okay? So the duration as a 20 hours. Any questions from anyone, please? No questions, will wind up and we'll connect in the next weekend.
Lakshman, if the implementation will be means like you can standard implementation is 10 to
Vanilla implementation we call.
no, yeah, no, 10 to 20 months it is implemented. If there is a 2 years time or more than 1 year's time, so there is any reason or it is specific to the project, or might be there is a small project but it is delayed due to any reason, like there is a mention any reason.
Several reasons. See, client is not supporting. Okay. Client is not supporting. Whenever you go and sit for the discussion, client team is saying, oh, boss, we are busy. Okay. So client is delaying, client team is not supporting. Other reason could be you have implementation team who are very poor. Okay.
Okay.
Your project manager is like anything. Like you can say, he never bother about anything.
Okay.
Okay. And you are very good from finance. SCM consultant came into project with good experience, but no experience. He doesn't know anything. His English is very good. I mean, no.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Many wonderful reasons you will find. Fine.
Yes, I got it.
There is a consultant for finance. He joined. He's in project for 10 days. He absconded. Fine. You know, like who are into projects nowadays. Most see many people you can see who got experience and who are working. But if you learn the product properly with good coverage, and if you are aware of this, if you are okay with English, yes, you can be part of project. You can lead in successful implementation. You can be part of it. Without knowing, okay, subject properly, okay. Honestly, I'm telling whatever I'm covering, that is more than enough. With this, you can be as a consultant in the project. You don't need to quit. You don't need to abscond from the project. You can stand and you can work. With that target, I taken the classes for all the entire financials, what really you need, what you have to understand, which aspects you have to understand. Once you are comfortable with this real-time classes also, this is more than enough. You can stand in front of anyone, you can speak. You can stand in front of anyone, you can do any activity, any task. You can interact with the client, you can understand many things. Okay. So that's what, see what, if you do Oracle Fusion Cloud Financial Training, you will get job and you'll get good package. If that is a target, that is okay. But accordingly, you have to get ready with the skill also. You have to be okay with the communication skills. The basic English only, you don't need to speak with a great accent and with American accent or UK accent. Speak basic English. Speak basic English. What you are speaking, if others are able to understand, okay. They should not find the mistakes in your English. If still you are at the stage, don't go with this. You will struggle a lot. Okay. So many people, many people know subject and they are struggling because of communication skills. And many people doesn't know, they know 50% subject. Okay, they are learning 50%, they are going and joining in the companies somehow. Okay, so this is how you see many reasons. Maybe client is not supporting, your team is not a good team, or some areas of consultants are not doing well. Somebody is absconded to replace, it took some time again. to acquire the knowledge on this project, what happening, what are the issues, it may take some time. Or else your project may be like a global implementation, or doing implementation for 4 countries, to happen implementation 4 countries, yes, it takes some time. Several reasons. Okay, several reasons. We cannot say exactly so and so. Okay, it could be any reason. Any other questions, please? If no questions, we'll wind up.
So you will update these classes, these 2 classes in Drive?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll share these videos. Yeah.
So next weekend, same time, the lecture.
Same time. Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yesterday's session video already I placed in the Google Drive. You can access it. You can download it.
I think Lakshman, this Excel is not there. Can you save this Excel also?
I'll place it. I'll place after some time. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that. Okay, because this sheet I have to extract from it. I'll place it because I'm
Sure.
using this sheet within this another class related discussion sheet to just refer if something is required when we are discussing. I'll make it as, because I merged 2 batches. Okay, this sheet maybe belongs to your batch. Okay, for other batch naming conventions somehow may be different. That is the reason only this sheet I will extract and I'll share respectively. Yeah.
Okay.
Voice is breaking. No. No. Others, any questions?
Lakshman, can I
Please.
just suggest one thing?
You want to say something or you want to suggest something? I didn't understand.
Yeah, just a suggestion.
Yeah, please.
I think it's brilliant that you are taking in this manner. Would it be possible to see some simple case studies to, like, whatever you're going through, what you're taking? If you take some kind of a
Yes,
case,
yes. That's what I'm telling
that'll
you.
be
First,
yeah,
you
yeah, that'll be
try to
brilliant.
understand the process. See,
Yeah,
if you are
totally,
traveling
yeah.
something unknown place, if
Yeah.
I know about how to travel, I'll tell you. I cannot show
No,
you
no,
the
that's
live.
fine.
You have
That's
to
fine.
travel.
No,
So
the
first I'm talking
reason.
about, I got it. First I
Yeah,
explain you the process, then I'll take
Yeah.
you through that how we prepare the documentation. I'll show you the
Yeah, no, I
as
think
is.
the only reason why I was saying is because you wanted people to ask questions, but most of the people, I think, if they have not worked in an e-business suite environment,
One second,
then
one second.
Okay.
I'm not referring here somebody knows EBS. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm expecting the knowledge from EBS. It could be EBS, it could be Fusion. Processes.
Yeah.
It could
Means
be
like
where
that's
it makes
what I meant.
difference.
Sorry.
Okay, if it EBS, you can do customizations. If it is a SaaS, you cannot do customizations on page. That's I'm not those. Yeah. Yes, of SaaS.
Yeah. Means like I was also talking in terms of the documentation. So
No,
these
you complete. Let me understand what you are saying. You go ahead. Complete.
Yeah. No, all I was saying is that you wanted people to ask questions, but I think some people who have worked in projects or they can definitely ask questions, but those who are not experienced in those areas, they might struggle to find a question to ask. So if you're taking some kind of a case scenario, then they get more involved, and then they have a better understanding of asking questions. I think that's why they are not asking question, is what I'm just basically trying to test.
2 points here. Okay, one is we are discussing just process.
Yes.
Process related, the outcome means the document preparation, something else we are not seeing now. That is one reason. The other reason it could be whatever I'm explaining, they might be understanding. Okay. See,
Yes. It's early stages. I totally understand. Yeah.
Frankly speaking, I am like asking, like, do you have any questions? To squeeze if any question is left from their end, anything they want to understand. Whatever I'm
Yes.
very detailed. Okay. Still they have to still they're asking many questions. I have to improve my presentation.
No, I absolutely, that's why all I'm saying is that the reason why they're not asking that many questions, I think is because of that. But what you're giving is absolutely brilliant. So thank you once again.
No, yeah, see, I totally agree with you. See, you are expecting, you are not finding the questions from participant.
Yeah.
Right? You are thinking the reason could be some case studies are missing or something, right?
Yeah. No, it's like sometimes I was thinking that if I ask questions, maybe
You
like,
tell me one
because
second,
I've been.
See, to make you to understand what is possible, I'm explaining. If
Yes.
you want to understand, let me know. I'll include. I'm open.
Yeah. Yeah.
See,
I
just now we
totally
discussed-
agree. I think.
One second. We discussed some gap analysis.
Mm,
Okay, gap analysis. So somebody said, could you please repeat it? I explained.
yes.
Yeah. Still, if they don't understand, there is no other option for me. I explained. I clearly mentioned. See here, the client.
Yeah.
Certain.
You did.
One is bank guarantee, right? Some reports I took example. This is what I explained. Generally, people, if somebody is explaining about real-time classes, you hear, we'll check what they need if those are available. Okay, or else we call it as a gap. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to give you the best which is possible from here. Means we are not in the real-time implementation. We are outside of the real-time implementation. Certain things you can understand when you jump into implementation only. So before going, at least you should know. So if somebody says, come on guys, today we are going to work on that gap analysis. You think like after learning all this, what does it mean by gap analysis? Are going to fight with me, with whom I am going to fight? I'm
also sure it will happen if
Yes.
I'm not listening this thing.
Yes. Say like, do I need to speak with the client or do I need to speak with the manager? Do I need to speak with the consultant? Do I need to take off today?
Yeah. No, I think what you're doing is absolutely brilliant. I think once people start looking at, as the class
Because see,
progresses,
this is
it becomes more
one
clear.
phase of discussion only. When document
Yes.
to the
Yeah,
picture,
I
I
agree.
may get many questions.
Yes.
Yeah. And after completing this process and the documentation, again, there will be new version of questions I can get from you guys. By the time you will be into this, right? Now you're
Totally.
out of this.
Yeah.
So that's how we have to boil, then we'll turn it, right?
Yes, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I totally understand. Okay, don't take, I'm not getting your point. I totally respect what you are saying, but it takes some time to get the questions from participants. There is no other option to explain in other way these points to get the more questions. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what you're doing is absolutely good. Yeah.
On top of it, I'll try to add something else, which is reality, and everything would be, hope it would be very much fruitful as I am expecting and as you want. We'll do that. Yeah. So I think yesterday we had session for around 2.5 hours. Today's session also 2.5 hours, around 5 hours we completed. Maybe still, I guess 15 more hours classes we are going to discuss. Okay. So there will come to know many things. And again, many things here, if something is not getting clarity here, what we discussed today, because of those classes, you will get clarity on these points also. That's how it works. Fine. Any questions, please? If no questions, we'll connect in the next session. Okay, no questions.
No questions.
Great. Thank you all. See you in the next weekend.